get dressed like this all the time. Well, someone does, and maybe they can teach me the ways because they're so infamous, so mysterious, and yet so gosh darn famous all at the same time. It's actually amazing. He's a groundbreaking country artist who's collaborated with so many of the greats: Elton John, Willie Nelson, Beyonce, Shania, just to name a few. Orville Peck is here.
Listen, I might have to have like a new sidekick, you know?
By the way, I'll be your sidekick.
I'm totally down.
Actually, you know why I want to be your sidekick?
Why?
Because I've always wondered if there is a way to invite all these different types of people to a party.
Like different types of people, how do you mean?
People who have different beliefs,
yep.
different backgrounds, people from different places. You are someone who is a human bridge, and I wonder how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. That's very sweet to say, and
it's a big deal.
It's we talk a lot about at my shows that it is a very, you know, obviously I'm a country singer, and unfortunately...
Born in South Africa.
Born in South Africa, yes. Very unusual for a country singer. And, you know, I think I draw a very diverse, super diverse crowd of people. So, like, you know, you have true blue country fans next to, you know, queer people, like every walk of life, every age, every race, everything at my shows. It really does show that not only can art bring everyone together, you know, like music, film, whatever it might be, theater.
It's funny. But all these years, I never thought it could be art. Go on.
Yeah,
okay,
but like...
aha moment, understood.
But, you know, that, just like you said, we absolutely have way more in common than we have as differences.
That's
you know?
what I believe. And I think, oh, God, you are so naive and idealistic and almost like I dismiss myself as almost dumb.
No, never.
And then I see someone like you, and I'm like, no, you can't do that.
Well,
you are doing that.
I think the key is just...
It's so inspiring.
I think the key is sincerity, and I think part of sincerity is not just about being open yourself, but it's also being open and vulnerable to other people's lived experiences. You know, everyone's raised in certain ways, whatever. And I think if, you know, coming to each other open with no preconceptions, and I'm talking about like on any...
No, I agree. When
whatever.
I meet people, I actually will probably find an easier inroad if you want to talk about trauma, the mistakes you've made, the things you've learned the hard way.
Well, I mean, the thing that is relatable as part of our human experience is sadly some of the things that define us and grow us the most, but they are some of the hardest things we all live through, and we all experience them in different ways, of course. But I think when we can share in a song or lyrics that connect us that way, or a film that speaks to us, and, you know, I think that is the power of good, important art, is that it can... you know, it can be a shared, relatable experience to many different people, right?
How do you think, absolutely. And even, you know, I found like, I'm so happy if like someone needs me, you know, or if I can get them a cup of coffee or like, you know, remember their birthday or hold the door open for them. Like that just is, those simple little things are so big.
Yeah.
But then the big stuff, like when you're with Willie Nelson singing about cowboys can be queer, I'm like, I get so excited. It seems like such a brave risk. It shouldn't. I wish we didn't live in a world where that was. But how do you dare to say, I want to get along with everybody, but I want us all to be who we really are and have that be a very real thing, not a fake thing, but I still want to be with everybody. I really ask your advice on this.
I think that those are important to have our own differences in life experiences. I think that that does not extend into anything to do with controlling, judging, or giving any sort of negativity or hatred towards anyone else's truth and experience. So, you know, like there's a limit to that I think is important to recognize. But if you can keep that as, I mean, that's a pretty low bar if you know, to make sure that that's not what we're doing. But other than that, you know, like I love hearing other people's interpretation of like my music, for instance, you know, like
Which is so beautiful.
Yeah, because sometimes...
Your music is so
thank you.
amazing.
Oh, thank you. But it's a fascinating thing sometimes. You know, sometimes I will hear somebody who's connected with one of my songs and they'll be telling me what it means to them. And like, you know, all my songs are very personal. But sometimes I've heard someone's interpretation of it being something even more important to them than even what I wrote the song about. And I mean, that's an incredible conversation to have.
I think that's what they call a win-win. It was cathartic for you and meaningful to them.
Absolutely. And that's the kind of art and music and film and theater I grew up loving, is that I could connect it to whatever my experience was, you know? So I'm glad I hopefully get to do that more, but yeah.
Do you not drink alcohol?
No, I'm sober, yeah.
Are you sober?
I'm sober, yeah.
Okay, I'm not sober, but I don't drink alcohol.
Got you, same.
And, oh, okay, great. Yeah. Okay, understood. For me, I found that was the biggest catalyst for me every single time was this one thing, my one answer of why did you not like yourself that night? What is it that you are desperate to escape from? All my whys would lead back to this one singular word, alcohol. And so when I finally decided to cut it out of my life, I was able to get to a place, and it took me years. It didn't happen overnight. And I'm such a work in progress. Yeah. And I know you say that about yourself too. How did you do something hard?
It's coping, right?
Yeah. It's escaping.
Yeah.
It's coping.
Numbing. I mean, we all do it. I mean, whether or not it's alcohol or something that is very sort of like...
Screen time, food, sex,
literally,
religion.
Anything.
Obsessing, friendship, overworking. I mean, literally.
1,000%.
The aholic can be attached to a million other words.
Yeah, and you know, it's the sad human condition is that I think we are all desperately just kind of like floating on this rock, trying to find love, validation, acceptance, and it's like the hardest thing for most people, and definitely was for me for a long time, is to sort of just accept and love who you are. I mean, I know that sounds really cliche and it sounds simple, but the easiest thing for me with getting sober was to stop drinking. Like, that was the first thing, right? Like, the hardest thing was dealing with everything else that I had been numbing, ignoring, suppressing when I would drink rather than deal with that. And so I found myself in my mid-30s, you know, having to develop emotional skin that I had just never had. And so when I quit drinking, I felt like I was walking around without my skin on. Like, I felt like I was so sensitive to everything. I mean, I'm a sensitive person anyway, if you've ever heard my lyrics, but, you know, it changed my life though. And, you know, I'm not here to tell anyone what they need to do or not. I mean, for me, this is what it was. Everybody, I think, also knows that thing. Yeah. Like, you have this Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder that's barking in your ear. This is your problem. And you're like, shut up! Yeah. Shut up! Go on, you were saying? I mean, literally, that's how we live life until we kick that demon's butt. And it is so hard, and each and every one of us are contending with something. It could be as crazy as, like, I haven't stood up to this person that is overpowering me my whole life. Yeah. You know, that could be it for you. It can come in all these different forms. And it's like, when you finally stand up brave
and valiant, and you say, however long this is going to take, probably a lifetime, I'm gonna work with you rather than working against you, and I'm going to stop denying you, and I'm going to face you.
Yeah.
And it's going to be difficult, but maybe it'll get better at some point, and then it seems to get better.
Yeah, I mean, I think very similarly, like your love language is, like acts of service, like doing things for people, making people feel good, making people feel important. Like, I'm very much the same way. My whole life I've been that way. But there was one person in my life that I never extended that to, and that was myself, right? Like, and so it's so funny because I had this beautiful skill of being able to love on people and make them feel happy and thought of and whatever, but I would never, ever extend that to myself. And so when I had that realization, I had to really work at that. I still have to practice it, but I'm getting pretty good at it now where like, sometimes I think the thing standing in our own way is ourselves a lot of the time. And it takes a hard look in the mirror sometimes, which is something we don't always want to do, especially for many reasons. But that is now something I enjoy doing, is like looking in the mirror and seeing myself. And yeah.
And we all love looking at you. And yet you found a way to do it on your terms, in your way, artistically, iconically.
Thank you.
With a bit of mystery, as someone who has lived on, I call it the gynecological table of life.
Yes.
You pick your term for feeling like you're an open book. I have always felt inclined, and it's funny because I think I do keep a lot of things very private and close to my chest, and I do live a very quiet life.
For sure.
Outside of other things.
Yep.
But I don't be a different person.
No.
And I'm having that revelation right now. I'm having so many revelations with you. I do not change. The mask may come on or off.
Yep.
But the person remains the same. Is that how it is for you?
Yeah, it's been a really fascinating sort of journey with it. It's truthfully, when I first decided I wanted to do the mask and kind of.
May I ask where an inspiration, an impetus, an idea, a muse, how it came along?
Yeah, well, I mean, growing up in South Africa, my reference point for cowboy culture and whatever was very like sort of pastiche. It was like Westerns.
Zorro.
Yeah, and like the Lone Ranger, obviously, right? And so.
Yeah, it was okay for him to do it.
Yeah, so in my mind, like, if you were going to be a cowboy, you had to, like, have this air of mystery and conceal, like, a little bit. And so when I was a kid, I used to, like,
Look at you!
Yeah, I used to literally. I've been doing that. I've been playing a cowboy since I was a kid, and like I would always cover my face because I would watch these Westerns, and they were always like, like hiding their identity or whatever. And so.
I wonder why they hid their identity.
I think they were up to no good, maybe.
Outlaws?
Yeah, outlaws, exactly.
Okay.
But
But the style was awesome.
Oh, so sick, right? And so, but as I've gotten older, there's a lot of, I could get really deep into the sort of profound nature of the mask in my life. But, I think I definitely felt, I always just felt different as a kid. Like, not just the fact that I grew up gay or anything like that. I mean, that was partly it, but I think, now that I have this like confidence about myself and this love for myself, I can look objectively and say, I think I was just a special kid, a unique kid. But for like most of my life, I thought that was my weakness, like instead of actually it being my power. But as so oftentimes we do with our things that make us unique, unfortunately. But I think the thing about the mask is it allowed me the sort of safety and confidence to be more myself than I'd ever been.
See, I always say this, doing this show scared me more than anything I've ever done.
Yeah.
Because if I was a character, I had all the ability in the world to do anything, anywhere, anytime.
No, it's true.
And when I did this and showed up in this show in a global pandemic, I am my kid's mom.
Yeah.
And I have never felt more intimidated in my life.
Yeah.
So however it is that you find the courage to be yourself, And that yourself is exactly what you said. It's the thing that makes you different and special. It's the thing that makes you you.
Yeah.
And now, you're on Broadway.
I'm on Broadway.
With no mask. How did you feel when you walked out that first time with no mask in this amazing play that I've been fortunate enough to see? It's a real experience. From the minute you walk in the door, you are transported.
Yeah.
Which we all are desperate for.
I'm close to naked in the show, just FYI. But
by the way, I was going to say, the show is so hot and sexy.
I mean, it has its moments for sure. But
So how has it been? How did it start? How's it going?
It's been amazing. It started, so, before I was a country singer, I grew up first as an actor and doing theater specifically. And I was a ballet dancer for like 12 years, kind of in a past life. And so I did musical theater when I was younger professionally. And then I stopped doing it forever. But this was always like my favorite show, my dream role.
Did you watch the movie?
Of course, that was my first introduction to it, yeah.
I loved the movie so much.
Joel Grey,
Liza Minnelli, Michael York.
Yeah, it's
incredible. Such a classic.
Incredible film. I mean, incredibly written story. It's so smart.
Unfortunately timeless and universal, because much like Cabaret, I think has common themes with E.T., which is like sometimes we are not comfortable with the unfamiliar.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, this show particularly, so if anyone's unfamiliar with what Cabaret is about, it's set in Berlin, like between World War I and World War II, the rise of fascism in Berlin, the rise of the Nazi Party. It takes place at a cabaret, like a kind of vaudeville club.
Yep.
And the characters who work at this club live in this club, and it essentially highlights how insidious something like hatred, fascism can infiltrate what was a very sort of vibrant, free, colorful, open, diverse, world in Berlin at that time. It's incredibly relevant still, which is insane to have to say that, and it doesn't escape any of us within the production. It feels like every day it hits harder doing this show. But it's. I mean, really, not even just to plug it or come see it, but I think it is a truly important piece of theater, especially now. So if you're gonna go see anything, it's pretty astounding. I feel very lucky to be a part of it.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I could not agree more. I have a couple pictures of you as we, kind of close out our conversation. Would it be possible to play a quick game of Memory Bank with you?
Please, I love games.
Okay, everybody, it is Memory Bank, everybody. Everybody, it's Memory Bank, everybody. All right, so photo number 1 is you and Willie Nelson. I have my pointer here.
Yes, pointer.
Okay. What is he like? I have loved him my whole life.
Oh, God, it's like Willie is like seeing your favorite grandpa that you haven't seen for years. Like, that's the feeling. I mean, he is genuinely the most open, comfortable, caring, loving. I mean, so I have a song with Willie Nelson, a duet, and it's a song that he had covered
in 2009.
Yeah, and it didn't really get much coverage because it's essentially about gay cowboys.
Yes.
And Willie asked me if I would do it as a duet with him, right? So, like, that's already a crazy thing to say, that he, the whole sentence is insane. He's like, do you want to do this song? I know you cover it sometimes.
Did he explain why he wanted to do it?
Yeah, he literally said, because it feels like it's more important now than ever. And that tells you everything. Yeah. That really tells you everything you need to know about who Willie Nelson is. He is an absolute just advocate for humanity and people, and it's
He's
beautiful.
91.
It's insane.
So he's lived and seen it all.
Yeah.
Okay, picture number 2 is the great Shania Twain.
Yeah.
By the way, that's one of my favorite masks of yours.
Thank you.
I love the fringe mask.
Thank you.
What are you guys doing here in this moment?
This was the day before lockdown happened. It was literally right before the pandemic. I went to her ranch in Vegas because
I've been there.
Yeah, I had heard she was liked my music, and so I
love how you don't even want to say the word fan.
No, it feels wrong.
By the way, I'm the same way.
I don't know why.
I won't even say I or my.
Yeah, no, it doesn't
People
feel
are like,
right.
this is your show. I'm like, no, it's not. It's all of our show. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I kind of shot my shot with her, and I was like, would you want to do a song together? So we actually wrote a song together that was my first ever duet I ever did, and it's called Legends Never Die, and we did a whole music video for her, and yeah, it was amazing.
Shoot your shot. Do it. Okay.
Always shoot your shot.
Number 3, what is Elton John like? What are you doing in this photo?
I got to go see his final tour. This is backstage at Dodger Stadium.
And I believe it's his final. Like, a lot of people say it's my final, and then 10 concerts later, you're like, I guess it wasn't.
I think it might be. I mean, him and his husband, they have 2 lovely boys. I believe 2 boys, and I think they're ready just to kind of settle and be dads.
And he's still working and collaborating. He has a special on this network with Brandi Carlile. What is one thing you remember about being with, amongst, I'm sure, many, but one thing that we could know as a fly on the wall about Elton John?
He has a really wicked sense of humor. And is like,
you had me at humor.
I mean, he has no shortage of dirty jokes. I'll just put it that way. But it's so lovely. He is also just so open and wonderful.
There's always a difference between sharp wit and meanness. When it goes to bitchy and mean, I'm out. Get me right up to that line and even dance on the line.
Yeah. That's his humor for sure.
I love
it's
that.
just a treat to be around. Also, he's Elton John. I mean, all these people, you're kind of you just sit there and you're dissociate because you're this is Elton John.
Well, all these people are choosing to associate with you and getting to know you and seeing how you dance around not indulging the ego, but your graciousness is overwhelming, and I love it because I am constantly in search of never ever losing sight of the meaning, the fortune, the privilege, any of this.
Yeah.
It just overwhelms me still. But what you said resonated with me so much too, was how much I wanted to love and give grace and be in service of everyone else. And I was just dying in a corner.
Yep.
And I didn't care for myself enough.
1,000%.
And so somewhere between being that person and remaining a person who loves everyone and has nothing but outflow, I got to tend to that person over there.
You can do both. They're not mutually exclusive. You can do both.
I'm learning that it might be true.
Me too. Yeah.
That both could be true. There's a parallel, there's a duality, there's a polarity. It can exist.
Yeah.
And I want to believe that too. So hearing it from you, I trust you. I believe that.
I feel like you're well on your way to that. I feel that for you.
Oh, Orville Peck, I am so happy.
Thank you. And I love your mask and hat. It was great.
It was okay?
Beautiful. Approved.
Good. Oh, let's dress up more, by the way.
Girl, you're looking at it.
I'm here for it. All right. Catch Orville on Broadway in Cabaret through July 20th. You'll be there, we'll be there, and we'll be right back.